So this is how to tack up your horse English. First you want to start with a freshly groomed horse. You don't want there to be any dirt underneath your saddle pad. And you want the feet to be picked out if you're going to be riding them. I have Kino here, and I've already groomed him, picked out his feet, and so let's get straight into it. So first thing you're going to need is a pad of some sort. There's full-length pads. This is called a shaped pad. It's shaped to the shape of your English saddle. So first we're just going to place that on their back, like so. And you want it to be right behind there, where there's a lot of people put their saddles up way too high. But it's actually, this right here is the point of his, not the point, this is the point. But you want it to be right behind this indent right here, this is his shoulder. So you want it to be right behind there, and it's a little bit up on his withers. Right here would be the base of his withers. I have it a little bit up on there. And then next you're going to want a half pad of some sort. If you have a custom fit saddle to your horse's back, these aren't really as necessary, but this adds extra comfort and support on their back, and especially along their withers. I have a neoprene one, but they do make felt ones and sheepskin ones, and not felt ones, but sheepskin ones. So you just place that right there on their back in shape with your saddle pad. And then next is your saddle. So I have an English saddle. It's a 18, and I have a saddle cover on it. If yours doesn't, that's perfectly fine too. But first, you're going to set it right there on their back, and if you have a saddle cover on it, now would be the time to take it off. So you just take it off, and I flip it over to one side so I can see what I'm doing. And I lift up this first saddle pad that I put on, and I shape my half pad, my saddle blanket pad, whatever you call it. I shape it to my saddle, and then some saddle pads, blankets, have keepers that go under here on your billets. I don't know if you can see them, probably not. Some people cut them off and don't use them. I like to use them because they make everything stay right in place. I usually put it on the first billet, like so. And then you go on to the other side and you do the exact same thing. So I'm going to take the rest of my cover off. Put it right there. I'm going to put the keeper on. And just make sure everything is fitting on this side. Make sure everything's sitting in the right spot. Just like so. And next is your girth. I have this type of girth. A lot of them have elastic on the other end, and if yours has elastic, that end goes on their left side. So I'm going to take this end, the end that doesn't, and it's usually the end with the tag, and I'm going to put it up here on the billet. Now I don't know how this is going to go on for him. I haven't ever had this saddle and girth on him. I'm just going to put it on the one I have for my mare. I missed a step. Also, some saddle pads have a keeper right here. This is for your girth. You're supposed to put it on before you attach it to the billets, but I forgot. So I'm just going to slide it on there, and that just keeps your girth in place. Go ahead and make sure everything is right in spot. And if you have a standing marten or a breastplate, a training fork, any of that stuff that slides over their neck and attaches to the girth, now would be the time to put that on. So I'm just going to slide that over his head. He's never had this on before. It's alright, Bubba. And then we're going to detach our lead rope. Just have that right around his neck. And then this side goes through the girth. like that. And that just sits around his neck. And then we're going to go to the other side and put it through the keeper and go ahead and cinch him up. And you want to make sure you do a little bit at a time as to not just roll it up and suffocate them. And I use the two end billets, and I leave the middle billet flapping in the wind, you could say. Now I notice on this side I have quite a bit of length, so on this side I'm going to go ahead and put it up a hole. And I'm going to have to undo it on the other side. A little tight. And he can be a little cinchy sometimes, which is expected for a young horse, especially. This is also his first time being ridden since his accident, or being saddled up anyways. So, we're all learning again. There we go. You want to make sure that you've got room in between everything on their withers. Wiggle it back and forth, make sure everything's in the right spot. And then I always pull their legs out, stretch their legs, but to get all that extra skin out of the girth area, so to prevent pinching. And next is the bridle that you got your saddle on. Let's go ahead and back him up here. Hopefully his face is in the camera. So he's got his fly mask and halter on. So I'm just going to go ahead and take off his fly mask carefully. Voila! So for your bridle, I use a loose O-ring coppermouth snaffle. Looks like this. And I have this, I don't know what it's called in English. I'm still new to English, but in Western it's called a curb strap. I've heard it called a bit hobble, called a lot of stuff, I believe. And usually the bridle, an English bridle has a cavesson, which goes around their nose, reins, and usually the cheek is, the throat latch is usually right attached to the bridle, and brow band, you know, just your basic bridle. And so we're gonna go ahead and start off by putting the reins over his head, so that we have something around his neck when we take his halter off. So we're gonna go ahead and take off his halter now. And now we're left with his naked face. Hi, Bubba. And then I put my hands up here between his ears and hold the cavesson. And I offer him the bit. He's usually pretty okay with taking it. And I let the cavesson down, slide it over his ears. And I've never had this, well, I did in December, I had this on him, but it's been a while. And you just want to adjust your cavesson. I hope you guys are catching this. And you just do the buckle. like so. And then, since he wears a training fork, you undo the reins and slide this one through, like so. And you want to make sure that your reins are flat. And slide this one through, bring them back around his neck, and redo the buckle. And there you have your English tacked up horse. Thanks for watching.